Okay, hello everybody. This is some English commentary for NJPW G1 Climax Day 5. I am Ryan Acidheads Murphy. And if you've never listened to any of my stuff before, Acidheads is just my music production name, and I do this stuff too. So we're getting into the first match here. It's Kojima and Tenzan going up against Elgin and Kitamura, one of the young lions, the young boys. And we've just kicked off, shoulder block. No, 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 says Michael Elgin. So get things synced up right there. We're starting with the first match. Elgin's going to run and shoulder block. Kojima's turn to say no, no, no. So again, if you've never watched any of my commentary before, you're going to be getting a mixture of wrestling commentary and critique. Kojima goes arse overhead there. Or gets bowled over, depending on which phrase you care to use. A couple of forearms. Jumping forearm. Nice body slam. Elgin going to vault over. Wasting a little time there. And a nice slingshot splash. Gonna bring the young lion in. That's Kitamura. Have to keep reminding myself of his name. Big dude, very hard chops. You can see Kojima's chest already blistering and getting red. Gut wrench suplex there. Goes for a pin, and no. So I said this on the last show, just a offhand comment. I think the guy's a good-looking dude for the business and everything, but I always worry with the big jacked-up muscle guys that's all that they're going to be about. Ooh, big muscle man, look at me, big muscles, you know. It's always a worry for me. Hopefully the dude will be more than that. He has a good look to him. I think he could probably do some good things down the line, but just have to wait and see. And the Mongolian chops. Gotta give it to the dude. He's already got some good reactions. Knows how to sell. That's always a positive. And the headbutts. That wasn't a real hard headbutt, so I'm not going to give him shit for that, but ever since what happened to Shibata, I don't like seeing the headbutts. I didn't even before then, but it's even more so now. And if this is your first time with NJPW for some reason, you're joining me for the first time instead of watching the other English commentary shows, the first four, Shibata was a wrestler with New Japan. He was getting very popular, definitely a rising star in the company for the second time. He had a world title match against Okada, and they did a spot during the match where Shibata just hardcore, totally unprotected headbutted Okada, and trickle of blood down the forehead, and it's one of those things that you see it on the night. If you didn't know what happened afterwards, you'd say, wow, that's a badass spot. But afterwards, Shibata had to have brain surgery, a craniotomy. He had to have there's swelling of the brain and had to have the pressure released from that one stupid fucking spot. Yes, I do cuss on occasion. So, very not sorry. So his career's probably over for a spot that they didn't need to do. And even though it did look kind of badass at the time, again, there's any number of other things that they could have done that would have looked just as good, and it wouldn't have destroyed his career. Apparently he's still trying to make a comeback. He's still hopeful that he can come back, but it's not likely. Alright, so we got Elgin doing some forever clotheslines here, taking a page from Rocky Romero. Need to look to see what Rocky's going to be getting up to. Still going. Again, if you're not aware, Rocky Romero was part of a tag team in the junior heavyweight division called Roppongi Vice with Trent Beretta. Had to stop and think of his name for a second. And they had a title shot, lost, and decided that they were going to go their separate ways. And it kind of sounded like Rocky was thinking of retiring, but I don't know. Only a 2 count. Off the Falcon Arrow there. Gonna bring the intense young lion in. Gonna try to have his way with Kojima. Big shoulder block takes him down. Showboating there, taking him up for a rack. Tenzan stopping Elgin from stopping him. Finally gets around to breaking up the move, though. Took him a little while. Koji cutter. Calling for the big clothesline and hits it. That's going to be it, I think. 1, 2, and 3. And that's the match. Unsurprisingly, the young lion takes the fall. And is always the case with these tag team matches for the G1 tournament. Undercard, it's going to be Kojima and Elgin in B-block action next time. The tag team matches always feature one or more competitors who will be facing off in tournament action on the next show. Kojima and Tenzan Tenkozy, longtime tag team. Part of the, I guess you could say, the prior generation of big stars. Very highly decorated, the two of them, both singles and tag team action. If you're new to New Japan, that's something you'll notice. Basically, most of the undercard matches will feature the guys who were the big stars maybe a decade ago or so, to a bit more recently. And then you have the younger, more popular, well, not more popular necessarily, but the more on fire at the moment guys, the ones who are the current generation of stars, you could say. So it looks like we're going to have 6-man tag team action here. It's going to be Suzuki, Taichi, and El Desperado, yay, going up against Juice Robinson, David Finlay, and it's like another young lion, Kawato. I like Suzuki, alright, El Desperado's okay, Taichi could disappear, and I would not give one. I would be happy about it, actually. I will probably rant a little bit while he's out there. lot of it is I just don't get the group, the Suzuki Gun group. They just don't make much sense to me. Suzuki I get, he's the grizzled, old, hard-ass, legit with the bunny ears there, MMA fighter that also does pro wrestling. He's done both through his career. And from all the stories about him, he is legitimately a pretty nasty individual. El Desperado, I think he's been around quite a while. From what I've seen in his matches, what he's had of them, he can actually work in the ring, so I don't mind him. But Tai Chi, he's like a really bad prop comedian to me, because that's all he is. He's nothing but props. All show, no go. And the whole thing with Suzuki supposed to be such a big badass, but then they have the interference and the cheating. It doesn't make much sense to me. But we'll see what happens in this match. I'll bet you $1 million Tai Chi has a mallet at some point. Don't take the bet, you'll lose. So we got Juice Robinson here. I believe he was in WWE or NXT or something for a while. But since he's come to New Japan, he's actually been able to shine and been doing some good stuff. Not a good position for him to be in. Looks like he's having some knee trouble. Going to be going up against Suzuki, who, as I said, if you're not familiar with him, has gone between actual MMA matches, bouts, and pro wrestling through his career, so his style is hurt you. That's Suzuki's style. He will hurt you. That's about the only way you can describe it. Basically, having a bum knee is not a good thing. Gonna lay in some slaps here. I'm trying to remember what happened to Juice in his last match that caused the knee problems. I remember that he was having some neck issues. I don't remember anything wrong with his knee. I'll be slapping the crap out of each other here. Again, if you're new to New Japan, you're going to have to get used to a different style than Western pro wrestling with New Japan. Suzuki going after the leg, not a surprise. And could we get a really quick match here? It might actually be in Juice's best interest to go ahead and tap out here just to get it over with. Looks like Suzuki's chest might have gotten bashed open a little bit there from all the slaps. Juice's chest is red as hell. Yeah, he's definitely bleeding from somewhere. Kawato trying to get away and finally breaks it up. So what I was saying about New Japan having a different style, Japanese pro wrestling in general, but especially New Japan, it's about warrior spirit. You want to try and use a video game analogy. You cannot look at it like a Mortal Kombat or something where everybody has a health bar and it just slowly goes down, and then when they run out of health, they fall over. It's they get surges of adrenaline and, get pissed off, and they make comebacks and stuff. And they will stand there and beat the crap out of each other to see who gives first. So, just something to be aware of. And Suzuki, very creative, torture-y kind of move here. I'm going to pull on his hair too. Have a seat, rip his leg off. So far, basically just getting a preview of their upcoming match. Nobody else has been tagged in. The other 4 guys, I don't even know where the hell they've gotten to. Kawato is in there just long enough to break up the hold and then get tossed back out. Here we go. This is actually a tag match. Another thing you'll have to get used to is that the opening matches on a card, like especially during tournaments or pretty much all New Japan shows, will always have a bunch of tag team matches. And there's the mallet. Told you don't take that bet. Prop comedian. Like I said, it's not just that he cheats all the time, it's that he really has no style. And it's the same stuff every single match. With absolutely no style, no storytelling, no nothing whatsoever. And when he does actually do moves, they're sloppy as hell. Okay, he actually pulled that off without screwing it up. Juice really needs to get a tag in, but nobody is over in his corner. El Desperado gonna come in and stomp on the knee. But as I was saying about the tag team matches, New Japan doesn't really run lots of different shows the way a bigger company like I've already said their name once. I try to avoid saying it. That company here in the States. They run multiple shows, so with the roster as big as they've got it, they can get lots of guys on TV, and then they can get them on house shows, and they can make their money. New Japan, they don't run as many shows, so they run a lot of tag matches to make sure guys get on the cards and make some money. And when they're not doing that, they allow them to go work in other companies so they can make some money there. So it can be a little bit wearing, I will admit that, for new viewers to New Japan. Because just on this card alone, for example, 5 tag team matches. But there's a good reason for it. Plus, like in situations like this, I love their Young Lion program, the way they work, because these young guys, they get tons of experience. Nice flying European uppercut there from David Finlay, son of Fit Finlay. Who could use some sun, but I think he'd probably burst into flames if he tried to get a tan. Nice flying drop kick there, missile drop kick from Kawato. I'll get their names down eventually. Sends Suzuki flying. I think he's probably going to pay for that later. Woo! He almost got a 3 count there. Gets caught, spine buster. And 2, broken up. Suzuki coming in, going after Juice. Kind of surprising he isn't going after the young lion there, Kawato. But I wouldn't be surprised if the young man pays for that later. Apparently Suzuki has a reputation for quite enjoying torturing the young lions. All in the name of toughening them up, of course. No, I think he's going to pay for it right now. Big spear. 1, 2... Oh, only 2 count. Dazed and confused. Gonna go for kind of a pedigree, but he does the splits too. 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. And once again, unsurprisingly, the young lion is the one who gets the 3 count. Like I was saying, as a developmental program, it gives those guys a hell of a lot of experience, because they go through the program and then they'll send them away to like Mexico or Ring of Honor here in the States, Europe, to get more experience, a kind of a journeyman thing. Suzuki continuing to torture Juice's leg, and once again, very nasty, somewhat, well, pretty damn creative, very, very nasty. And the young lion paying for it a little bit more there. Yes, Suzuki, definitely a guy with a reputation. Apparently it is completely deserved. They're finally getting Juice out of the... untangled from the guardrail there. I think it's one of the things I do like about Suzuki, but also don't like, is because you're never really 100% sure if he's working or shooting. Because the way he acts sometimes, you can imagine that he's the kind of guy that could actually go into business for himself, as they say. If somebody pushed his buttons the wrong way, I don't think he'd hesitate to knock him the fuck out. Which he is more than capable of doing. Get the slow walk to the back. Juice, considerable pain, it would appear. Definitely going to hinder his potential in the tournament going forward. It's only his first year, though. As long as he stays with New Japan, he's got plenty more opportunities in the future. Alright, so now it looks like we're going to get Bullet Club with Tama Tonga and Chase Owens. And they're going to be going up against Evil and Time Bomb. Hiromo Takahashi, something like that. I just call him Time Bomb so I don't get him mixed up with the other Takahashi. Not that I could get them mixed up visually, just easier to keep it straight in my head that way. And no more Daryl. Poor Daryl got killed. Again, if you're new to New Japan, Time Bomb, dude, it was the first one that came out. He's a bit of an odd duck. Been coming out with a weird stuffed cat with a wig on lately. And during the last show, another Bullet Club member, Bad Luck Fale, ripped him apart. Hiromu is sad. And we've got Evil. Members of Los Ingobernables de Japón. Which means the ungovernables of Japan, I do believe. They're rebellious. I got Tamatonga and Chase Owens. Tamatonga I like. It definitely has some interesting ways of working in the ring. Some definite personality. Chase Owens hasn't done anything to impress me yet. Seems more just a kind of a generic guy, you know. Not bad, but nothing pops with me in watching him so far. And Los Ingobernables going to kick things off in a hurry. Thanks for making it so easy to call any kind of commentary on this by immediately going to the outside and splitting up so I cannot keep track of what everybody's up to. Evil into the guardrail. Time Bomb gets crotched on the guardrail. Taking it to the outside, not working out for the LIJ guys. Safe headbutt. It's the hair. I do not know what he's got a hold of there, but he just hit Evil very gently with it. Owens in the ring pummeling Time Bomb. And perhaps, have we actually had a bell yet? I think we must have. Drop kick. And takes a little walk. To tag in Tamatonga. Pick him up and rolls him over. I've not seen Tamatonga's brother for a while now. Tonga Loa, I think. Time Bomb fighting back. But not for long. Into the corner, but nobody's home. Traps the leg, traps the arm, takes him over with a dragon screw. Nice variation on the move. Gets Evil in. Owens goes down. Forearm, well, back elbow really in the corner. And really big senton. Always gets some good height on that. Nice counter there. Glad to see that Evil is finally kind of getting into his character a bit more. Only 2 count. There for a while, it didn't seem like he was really getting into it. But here lately, he's definitely been feeling it more, you can tell. Looking for a Fisherman's Buster, but gets stopped, caught, and like a reverse DDT there. Couldn't quite see if he twisted or anything. Owens takes a bit of a stumble there, gets caught. Catches Time Bomb, goes behind, hits the Enziguri. DDT and like a flatliner. Owens is a junior heavyweight. So is Time Bomb. Owens has him up. Stoppage, super kick. Kind of a clumsy exchange there, not sure what they were going for. Off the ropes. Hits another Enziguri. Big super kick and huge clothesline. 1, 2, and only 2 count. I saw Time Bomb going for something on the outside. I think he must have did a move off the apron, but the camera angle switched. Could not see what happened. This is Evil's new move, the Banshee Muzzle, I believe it's called. Gets a tap out. If you couldn't quite see what he did with the move, he traps the arm with his leg, then wrenches on the neck, so you're getting a combination effect of a lot of pressure on the shoulder socket and the neck. The further down he sinks, the worse the pressure gets on both areas. And Tama Tonga going for his gun stun, they call it, as a cutter. Evil just threw him off like a doll, a rag doll. Tama Tonga a little bit perplexed, I think. Evil not giving a damn. Think that ought to be a pretty good matchup. Los Ingobernables fist bump. And they exit the ring. Alright, so we still got a couple more tag team matches to go. Time Bomb's still looking sad. Daryl is dead. And Evil looking plenty ready for Tama Tonga in their matchup. Alright, another Bullet Club match coming up here. It's going to be Omega, Kenny Omega, and Takahashi versus Toriano and Jado. And if you are new to New Japan Pro Wrestling, this guy right here, very likely one of the reasons, if not the reason, why you're checking him out. And perhaps looking for additional English commentary to continue watching the tournament. Kenny Omega and Okada's matches, a lot of attention, deservedly so. This is Yujiro Takahashi. And of course, Kenny Omega. Do not be surprised if you hear Japanese women with very high-pitched voices screaming Kenny. Not knocking anybody, it's just it can be kind of funny sometimes, to me. Might have heard him during some of the other matches, too. It'd just be a bit amusing. I've actually seen comments of people on YouTube or whatever saying that it's annoying, but I just think it's kind of funny. Like, seriously, isn't that the whole point of the thing, is you want people screaming for the wrestlers? You gonna complain about it? Give me a break. Alright. Got Toriano, the trickster, the sneak thief, coming out with Jado. Members of the Chaos faction. Jado and Gedo, one of the probably one of the most celebrated tag teams in Japanese wrestling history. They've been working together since the 80s, I think. Late 80s. Haven't really been working together much lately, mostly been filling in these tag matches. Since most of the members of Chaos are actually in the tournament on one night or the other. Roppongi Vice was actually, I believe, yeah, they were Chaos's junior heavyweight tag team. They've split up, and I'm not sure that they ever replaced their heavyweight tag team. I started watching in 2015, the G1 Climax Tournament 2015. At that time, Chaos did have a heavyweight tag team, the Kingdom, something like that. Then they kind of disappeared, and I don't know that Chaos ever got a new tag team. They've taken a few hits to their membership last year, couple years. Didn't help when Nakamura got scalped. And Jado, and along with Gato, two of the dirtiest tag team guys in pro wrestling ever, probably. Takahashi, haven't seen a whole lot from him for a while. He was in the 2015 G1 Climax. I don't think he was in it last year. And it's one of the things I do have a problem with when it comes to these like factions and big groups of wrestlers within a promotion. Toru Yano getting choked a bit there by Omega. But you have a problem with some of the guys that, like Takahashi here, who maybe they're not going to be huge stars, maybe they could be, but when they're part of these big groups like Bullet Club, they never get a chance to stand out on their own very much. But then at the same time, the argument could be made that he had his chance to stand on his own and he wasn't really getting anywhere that way, so by putting him with the group, he extends his career. Perhaps picks up some new tricks, develops a persona that could carry him through a bit further. Jado doing a flare flop there. Omega just playing around. Not really a fair situation for Jado. Two, he is a junior heavyweight, and the other three are all heavyweights. Although Takahashi a bit on the smaller side. Nice drop kick, or not drop kick, but leg drop there. Only a 2 count. Then on the other hand, Toru Yano, member of the Chaos group, he's not really one of those guys that you would ever expect to win any really big matches or anything. He's kind of a funny comedy dude, and sometimes he wins tag team titles and stuff like that. So he fits in okay as part of a big group, but you know, every case is contextual, subjective. Toru Yano and Omega finally going to face off here. Toru Yano going straight for the turnbuckle cover, as is expected. Takahashi catching him that time. Oop, Omega got it right upside the head. And again, oops. Toru Yano the trickster. Grab of the hair, slamming him down. Omega returns the favor. Another thing, if you're new to New Japan, try to get as many of these little explanations and, you know, look at it this way sorts of things in now and again. And a little double team there. Inverted atomic drop. And a clothesline 2. Only a 2 count. But you'll notice that they're kind of lax on the rules here in New Japan. And again, you're just going to have to get used to that if you haven't been watching very long. They are very lackadaisical about following the rules. Double hair grab. And the ref forcibly breaks it up, perhaps taking a little bit of hair with them. Nice jawbreaker. Catches him, Fisherman Buster. Gonna look for the 3 count there. 1, 2, and only 2 count. And I will say, honestly, the whole thing with the rules does kind of annoy me, because my feeling is that, and short DDT, I think that's a finish, and 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, for Takahashi picking up a win. So my feeling is that if you're going to have rules, you should actually follow the damn things. Otherwise, why have them? Just kind of to me, that just makes sense. So I guess if you ever saw any old school ECW, you're going to have to kind of look at New Japan a little bit like that. It's not like they just let them go out and do whatever they want. But there is a bit of a backstory to it. Back in the day, New Japan, they were doing a lot of, old school pro wrestling finishes where nobody ever actually lost, and lots of draws and countouts. And if you've ever seen any old school wrestling, or the old school wrestling reviews on YouTube, and they have their own website, go check those out and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like one guy off the top of my head who was notorious for it, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Probably 95% or more of his matches would end with him and the other guy brawling to the outside and getting counted out, both of them. So New Japan was doing tons of stuff like that. The fans got sick of it and started leaving the company. They got into a bad way, so they stopped doing that sort of crap. You will very, 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 very rarely see a match not go to some kind of a clean finish in New Japan. You will see interference from some groups, like Suzuki Gun, and cheating, but the matches will generally go to a finish. Very occasionally you'll see a draw or something like that. Countouts do count as a win if one person is counted out. And they will... I don't think I've ever seen anybody get disqualified. I've been watching, as I said, this is my third G1 Climax since I started watching. And in all the time I've been watching New Japan, I don't think I've ever seen somebody get disqualified. If I have, it's something that has happened so rarely that I honestly just do not remember it. So, okay, we've got... 2 more members of Los Ingobernables de Japón here. Here's Sonata, who's in the G1 tournament this year. Was in it last year. Sporting his new mask. Not sure about the t-shirt. Because he comes out with the kind of a cool looking mask there. And then just t-shirt. And tights. But I guess it works for him, so whatever. And Bushi. And they're going to be going up against 2 more members of Chaos. Okada, current world champ, has been for... let's see, over a year at this point, I believe. He won it before the tournament last year. So yeah, he's been champ for over a year now. And I think he's on his 4th reign. Here he is, Okada, the Rainmaker. And he's going to be accompanied by the aforementioned Gedo. So to kind of wrap up what I was saying about the whole rules thing, you just kind of have to look at it kind of like ECW rules light. They don't necessarily just let them go out and do whatever they want, but at the same time, they're not going to DQ them. They're very rarely going to see, like I said, a match go to anything other than a finish of some kind, with one guy getting the win over the other. Occasionally you see weapons come into play, but they don't do that very often. You will not see very many gimmick matches in New Japan. They very rarely do gimmick matches. I think since I started watching again, going into the 3rd year watching New Japan, they've had one ladder match. And that was between Kenny Omega and Michael Elgin. Other than that, I can't think of any other gimmick matches they've had. So, if you like gimmick matches, you're not going to get that with New Japan. If you like a lot of the out-of-the-ring soap opera sort of stuff, you're not going to get much of that with New Japan. They are definitely a promotion that's all about the ring work. Alright, so starting off, it's going to be Sanada and Okada facing off again for the tournament in the next show. So we're seeing them kicking off this tag team match. These two have faced each other a few times, with Okada, for the most part, coming out on top. Be interesting to see if Sanada can get Okada this year. Sanada looking to kind of tie Okada up, showing that these two have faced off a few times before. They know each other pretty well at this point, countering the counters, whatnot. Big flurry of activity there. They have Bushi come in against Gedo. And after seeing Tai Chi earlier, we'll probably see some cheating from Gedo, but notice the difference in how things are done, and you'll see why I'm cool with Gedo, and Tai Chi just annoys me. Playing some head games. You see what I mean? There's some style involved with both of these guys. They both know what they're doing. Sanada catching Gedo in the back, and Bushi gonna do a little choking with the shirt here. Oh, he's pulling on his beard. Ow. Ouchie, ouchie. Ow. That's not nice. You never mess with a man's facial hair. That's just wrong. And tying him up. Using him for a footstool. Drop kick to the behind. No protection. Into the corner. Bushi going to nail him with a knee. Send him out. And double drop kick. Squish. 1, 2, and Okada breaks it up. I didn't quite see what happened to Okada when he just came in from the outside. I'm not sure what he was up to. Bushi misses. Okada does not. Big flapjack. Big European uppercut. Gets caught. Okada going for the neck breaker and hits it. Kind of a variation on a kryptonite crunch. Jawbreaker, and gonna see a thrust kick. Yep. Nailed him. 1, 2, and 2 count only. And big ol' slap to the face. Bushi wiggling through, kicks him. Big drop kick and Busharoonie. Catches him with the knees. 1, 2, and Okada breaks it. Sonata get in. Okada missing the drop kick. Gets caught in the... It's a guillotine choke. Bushi catches him with the knees. 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, I can never remember the names of anybody's moves, so I just call them what they are, the names I know. Some of them I remember, most of the time I forget. Los Ingobernables guys just taking off. They don't care. They won. Alright, so that is the end of the tag matches. Now we're going into the tournament matches. 5 matches, singles action, 30-minute time limit. Win gets you 2 points in the tournament. Draw gets you 1 point. Loss is nothing. Alright, so we're kicking off the first tournament match here with Zack Sabre Jr. coming out from England, if you couldn't guess from the flag. who I have decided to nickname the Whippet. The Pro Wrestling Whippet. If you don't know what a whippet is, look it up. And you should be able to understand why I call him that. And here comes El Desperado with him. So far, haven't seen any cheating, any interference during his matches, so can't complain about that. He's a member of Suzuki Gun. And he's going to be going up against another Chaos member, Yoshihashi. The youngest member of the group, or at least the lowest down on the totem pole, I guess you could say. This is his second G1 tournament. I believe he only got 6 points last year, 3 wins, so we'll see if he can do better. So far he's 1-1, I believe. Yeah, his first match was against Yuji Nagata. He won that one. Then he went up against Tetsuya Naito and lost. So, have to see if he can pull a win out here against Zack Sabre Jr. The last show with the English commentary from Don Callis and Kevin Kelly, they talked about whether or not Yoshihashi could change things up and start working a different match, be less predictable. I'd have to agree that if he really wants to win more in the tournament, he's going to have to change things up. It is certainly a legitimate observation. Because Yoshihashi does have kind of a predictable style. He likes to kind of take it easy a little bit and then really explode on his opponents. His nickname is the Loose Explosion. Problem is that Zack Sabre Jr. is not going to let him do that. Sabre is going to try and tie him up into knots and make him tap. And already seen it. Yoshihashi managing to avoid getting tied up so far. Sabre almost looking like he's just playing with him at this point. So far, so good. From a critiquing point of view for these guys, Yoshihashi, I'd have to say, no, we're seeing some interference here. After I was being nice earlier, too. But Yoshihashi, as I said, starting off a little bit slow, then kind of cutting loose, managing to avoid Saber's wrestling submission-based offense long enough to start getting some offense in of his own. I think Yoshihashi could definitely use something to give him a little bit more pizzazz, I guess. I don't know. Presence. Arm stunner. Catches the leg. Now you're going to see a lot of... Oh, there's a stomp there. I figured Saber would start going into the chain wrestling. Moving from one submission hold to another. And starting to work over the arm there. Zack Sabre Jr., not really sure what to make of him yet. I don't have anything against a submission-style wrestler, but I'd have to say sometimes he spends too long on the mat, and his matches can get a bit boring. For my taste. Vicious stomp of the arm with the hand pressed to the mat there. Nasty looking move. Is this kicking at him? Always guaranteed to piss the other guy off. Hard European uppercut. Not a very hard chop in return. I will give Saber one thing, certainly. He has a very interesting, really quite unique offense in all of these submission holds he comes up with, which is down to his size and flexibility, a lot of it. So I will give him that. It's just that he lacks the intensity of, say, a Kurt Angle. Or even like the guys in the Ring of Honor tag team. I don't know what's been going on with them. I haven't seen them for quite a while since I don't watch Ring of Honor. Red Dragon. They both use quite a lot of submission style stuff too, and they have an intensity to them. Zack Sabre Jr. just doesn't really have that in my eyes. So, not saying he has to change either. That's just my take on the guy. I'm sure plenty of people really enjoy the more wrestling-based pro wrestling. But it's just my feeling he could use some more intensity and maybe not spend quite so much time on the mat. He hasn't been in this match, which is good. Yoshihashi hitting that running blockbuster. I think it's also called an overcastle. So, been a pretty good match so far. A little bit of back and forth going on, which is always good to see. Big chop in the corner. Run and nice drop kick. Always think he should throw in a knee or something right before he goes for the drop kick. Leaves him hanging on the rope just a little too long, I think. Catches him, neck breaker. And only 2 count. Catches the arm, kicks it. Misses the sweep. Gets caught by Yoshihashi. Going for powerbomb, I think, and hits it. Goes over, 2 and 2 count only. Yoshihashi running drop kick into El Desperado. Get him out of the way, going for a swanton, but gets caught. Running kick, called a penalty kick, only 2 count. Goes right into a attempted armbar here. Transitions to triangle. Yoshihashi pulling him all the way up. Not able to do anything. And Saber trying to transition back into an arm bar. Got it. Yoshihashi able to roll to the ropes. Huge clothesline. Well, it's more like a Jushin Thunder Liger style palm thrust. Catching him. Gonna look for that finisher move he likes to use, but Saber gets a pin. 2. Only 2 count. Another one of those unique combinations he likes to use. Catches him, looking for an armbar again. Yoshihashi trying to muscle out of it. Has a hold of him. Had a pump handle position there, maybe looking for a suplex, but Saber gets out of it, goes into the octopus hold. That's different. And Yoshihashi didn't tap, he gave up. Understandably, I think. That looked quite painful. So not a bad match, I'd say. Zack Sabre Jr. not spending as much time on the mat, that's good to see. But Yoshihashi still pretty much just doing Yoshihashi. So my feeling about these two so far is Yoshihashi, it's been nice seeing him develop over the last couple of years and improve, but he's kind of reached, it seems like, a kind of a plateau, and I kind of worry that if he doesn't try and push himself a bit harder, try and come up with some new things, then he's going to end up being one of those guys that's just there to fill things out, which would be a shame, because I think he has a lot of potential. Zack Sabre Jr., I still think he could use some more intensity and maybe a bit more variety in his moveset. I don't know about him trying to use kicks. His body, his build is, he doesn't have any real impact behind his strikes. A lot of the time, those European uppercuts look pretty damn rough, but the kicks not so much. Perhaps he could start incorporating in a bit more high-flying stuff. Just, a little variety to mix things up. And bring some more intensity to the game. I think could be good for him. Yoshihashi maybe has a bum wing there. That would not be good going forward. Alright, I think up next we're going to have Nagata against Tanahashi. If you're wondering what they're doing down there on the ring, they tighten up all the screws and everything on the turnbuckles and make sure everything's secured properly. I think they might run commercials or something during those breaks, or they leave those in there for running commercials later or something. Alrighty. So, your music's probably cut off at this point. If the characters up at the top would, in English, they would say that the music has been muted or altered for copyright reasons. Honestly, my feeling about that is that if they're having copyright issues over something, then they need to go ahead and get the guys some new music. Something. But this is Nagata, Yuji Nagata. He's another one of the older generation of stars. He said that this is going to be his last G1 tournament, his 19th, I believe. He's been one of the mainstays in New Japan for quite a while. One of the big stars winding down his career. So I suppose at this point in his career, he doesn't want to change his music. But it is a little bit annoying when you're trying to watch the show, and then all of a sudden you just get dead silence. But oh well. So Nagata, so far 2 matches down, 0-2. He went up against... See, here you go. He went up against Yoshihashi in his first match, lost. Went up against Goto in his second match lost. Here he's going to be going up against Tanahashi. Tanahashi is 1-1. He went up against Zack Sabre Jr. in his first match and lost. Then Tanahashi went up against Bad Luck Fale in his second match and won. So Nagata is going to be looking to get on the scoreboard here. Tanahashi is going to be looking to get up to 4 points. Tanahashi is currently the Intercontinental title holder, the champ. Nagata not looking too happy, looking pretty intense. And I would expect Nagata to be pretty fired up for this match. He's not going to want to win or lose 3 in a row. On the other hand, Tanahashi, guess you could say that he was the last big, huge star in New Japan before Okada kind of took the reins. I'd say Tanahashi definitely not on his way out by any stretch. Don't know if he'll really get up into the world title scene again, though. It's always a possibility. You never know. He did win the tournament in 2015, the first year I watched. Didn't do too bad last year. Went up against Okada for their final match of the A block. What? Tanahashi did. Nakamura won the B block. Tanahashi won the tournament. Sorry, having a bit of a argument there. Anyway, last year, Tanahashi and Okada faced off in the final match of the A block. Went to a draw. Goto won the A block. Faced off against Kenny Omega for the tournament. Kenny Omega won. Some good chain wrestling here. Critique-wise, I have nothing to say about either of these guys. They are way too good, way too professional to need any kind of critiquing. I mean, I guess the only thing I might say is that Tanahashi could possibly stand to change things up a little bit more, but then he always changes things up a bit here and there, so I'd say that if he wants to get back into the world title scene, he could do it. It's really a question on whether or not he would want to or not. Nagata definitely closing in on retirement, I would think, so he'll probably spend the next few years working the undercard in tag matches, and then when he's ready to call it quits, that'll be it. Misses the enziguri there. Tanahashi working the knee. Probably going to be looking for a Texas Cloverleaf later on. He likes to use that as a potential finisher. Normally uses a frog splash he calls the high fly flow. Has been working the tournament with a torn muscle in his arm. And if you're new to New Japan, once again, Tanahashi's thing is kind of the air guitar. If you're not aware, it's a big deal in Japan. They have tournaments of air guitar tournament things. What can I say? Japan's kind of weird. And I'm sure there's plenty of things about the United States that are very weird to the Japanese, so... Not knocking it, just calling it. Nice figure four there, working over the legs. Tanahashi may be trying to give himself a bit of a breather in this match. Try to focus on the legs, get a submission, avoid anything risky. Try to avoid hurting that arm anymore. Nagata trying to turn it over. If you've ever wondered how this move causes pain, you have to consider the legs like two levers. The upper leg is being used to apply a great deal of pressure on the knee, bending it in the wrong direction, while simultaneously putting pressure on the ankle of that leg. Now you reverse it, and all the pressure is on the other guy's leg. And Nagata gets to the rope. Of course, the other thing, the figure four puts a lot of pressure on both knees, actually. You saw him grabbing the other knee. Of course, that's the one that Tanahashi's been working over. The pressure on that knee would have been pushing the knee in an unnatural position up towards his body. Nagata getting a nice knee to the gut in there. Kitchen sink, I've heard it called. Not sure why. Gonna muscle through the pain and land some kicks. Maybe making himself a little vulnerable. He exactly got caught. Tanahashi just slapping him. Figured he'd go for another dragon leg whip there. That might have pissed off Nagata. And it did. Gonna rush in with some strikes. Hard kicks. Ouch. Right to the back. And to the chest, back. Stomping the crap out of him now. And a really hard slap. Seeing some of that warrior spirit coming out. And they're just going to slap the crap out of each other. Huge kick just rolls Tanahashi right over. Huge Yakuza kick in the corner, or just a big kick. I doubt they'd appreciate it being called that. Only 2 count. The Yakuza is the Japanese mafia, if you're not aware. if it actually exists, and some would say it doesn't anymore, but I don't know, so I'm not going to comment. But here in the States, that big running kick in the corner, or just a big running kick like that, generally from a Japanese wrestler, would be called a Yakuza kick, but I doubt they'd appreciate it. Looking for a belly to back overhead suplex there, and catches it. Often and erroneously called a German suplex. It's only a German if they hold on. Technically. Nagata looking like he might have been a bit dazed, but trying to fire back there. Foot gets caught, and there's the whip. It's always something you got to be careful of going up against someone like Tanahashi. He likes going after the legs like that. He will hit that leg whip from several different positions, several different styles, and here's the cloverleaf. Looking for it. Nagata fighting him off. Nagata catches him with the reverse arm bar. This is a move he likes to use to try to finish guys off with. When he really sinks it in, you'll see his eyes roll up, and there you go. Tanahashi already working with a bad arm. Nagata not really needing to do anything to soften it up. Tanahashi fighting to try to get to the ropes. And succeeds. Always thought Tanahashi could be served a bit more by working on the lower back a bit, along with the legs, to soften them up for the cloverleaf, since a lot of the pressure from the cloverleaf is applied to the lower back. But he prefers to use those leg whips, variations, to soften up the legs. Big running knee. Trying to get Tanahashi up on the turnbuckle. Tanahashi trying to fight away. Ooh. Nailing him with a forearm, looking for an exploder from the top. Looks like that's what he's looking for, is an exploder suplex from the top. Tanahashi gets up there and gets caught. Huge impact off of that. Only a 2 count though. Looking for a brainbuster. Ooh, nails him. 1, 2. Oh, only a 2 count. Thought he might have had him with that one. Now it's Japanese. I have to say it properly. Brainbuster. Looking for the Saito suplex. Gets caught, though. Tanahashi manages to turn it into a splash and goes back to the knee. Crossbody. Nagata trying to fight through the pain. Tanahashi's arm clearly bothering him now. Having his arm in that reverse arm bar for so long obviously took a toll. Not that it ever wouldn't, but when you're already working with a bad arm, it's not going to do you any favors. And now throwing forearms with the bad arm. course, it is his main arm, his right arm. He's not a lefty, not a southpaw. Back to the slapping each other. See who's going to give first. Ow. Oh. And Nagata gives. But not for long. Ooh. Got a bit of a cut under his eye. Not a bit of a cut, he's bleeding pretty good there. All those slaps. And Nagata misses. Just drops like a sack of potatoes. Sling blade. 1, 2, only 2 count. Gonna go up. I think he was definitely wanting to get that high fly flow. Nagata knew it was coming. Forcing himself up. Looking for another big suplex. Tanahashi stopping him. Trying to fight him off. Nagata not going down yet. They're telling him to hit him again. He's going to prove that he's the bigger, tougher guy. Well. Oh. Headbutt. Not a fan. Looking for the standing high fly flow. Catches him. He's going to go for another one. Try and get the full impact. And nails him. 1, 2, and 3. Nagata drops 0-3. It cannot feel good for Nagata. Dropping 3 losses in a row right at the start of the tournament. Tanahashi picking up his second pair of points to go up to 4. Wouldn't be surprised at all if this block, the A block, doesn't come down to Tanahashi and Naito. But you never know. There's still, I believe, 6 more matches in the block to go, so nobody's out of this yet by a long shot. Nagata obviously disappointed. Tanahashi taking some time to love on his fans and let them love on him. You really want to understand how popular this guy has been. You know, obviously for me this is secondhand knowledge, but think Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels levels of popularity at the height of their popularity. That's what this guy has had in Japan. So, rock star success. Alrighty, moving into third matchup, which is going to be Naito up against Bad Luck Fale. Could be interesting. Actually, a few similarities between them. They both kind of have tempers if somebody gets under their skin. Other than that, they both kind of like to try and work their own pace and dictate the match to go their way. Well, all wrestlers do that, but they specifically try to push the pace into where they want it. Fale with his strength, Naito by playing head games. So it'll be interesting to see who gets under whose skin first. Naito, pretty damn tough, used to longer matches. That could definitely work in his favor. Fale, he doesn't gas out as fast as some bigger guys tend to, but still, the longer the match goes, the more in Naito's favor it's likely to become. I think Fale's best bet here is to use his power, use his strength, try and take Naito out quickly, get it done. Naito can get under Fale's skin, tick him off, make him mad, start making mistakes, then he can start playing his game, use his speed, high impact, explosive offense he likes to employ, maybe go after the legs, traditional way of dealing with a big dude. Cut his legs out from under him. Regardless of the specific strategy employed, if Naito can piss Fale off and get him to start making mistakes, then the match is his. As long as he can avoid Fale knocking the crap out of him once he does get ticked off. So no other members of Bullet Club coming out with Fale. Usually does come out by himself. Well, Naito is going to jump him before the match even gets going, before Fale can even get in the ring. And a little tranquillo. Like I said, Naito's going to want to play the head games. Fale, he needs to stay calm. And so far, perhaps not succeeding very well. Tying up there, the bigger man enforcing. Clean break. Not so clean break. Naito firing off on Fale. Got caught there and dropped. Fale catching him. Looked like he was going to go for a front slam. Naito fought his way out. And again, it looks like Naito might already be fired up here. They had a tag team match in the last show. Fale played some head games of his own. I think he might have already gotten under Naito's skin right from the start. That is one thing that is certain to tick off Naito, is if you start trying to play his own games against him. Mocking Los Ingobernables de Japón, Naito, the first and foremost member of the group. Not sure if you'd call him a leader, since the entire point of the group is that they are ungovernable. But he's definitely the top dog of the group. And he does not like it when you mock them. So, Fale, by doing so during that tag match, very well could have gotten underneath Naito's skin and taken him off his game. Naito back in. Fale going to continue working on his back by just standing on him and stomping on his head. Not normally a fan of big man wrestlers. Fale has impressed me. I still think he could probably stand to lose about 50 or 60 pounds. Work on his cardio. Maybe incorporate some new moves. Youch. But see, he still does some good stuff like that. He doesn't just lumber around like a big oaf. But I think he actually has the potential to be a bigger star. Just, needs to get out of the rut he's gotten into. Because when he really shows his persona, his personality, he comes to life. And a lot of the time he's just kinda there in the background. I think he could actually be, right up there with, say, a Mike Awesome. If he would, work on expanding his moveset and what he does out in the ring and get in a bit better shape. And Mike Awesome was actually pretty damn popular in FMW back in the day, so when I say at Mike Awesome's level, I'm not talking about WCW Mike Awesome, I'm talking about ECW and FMW Mike Awesome. But I guess it's just when I watch wrestlers out in the ring doing their thing, I always want to see him improve. I always want to see him do more. To keep growing. Alright, so Foley's got him up. Maybe a shoulder breaker, a running power slam. But Naito's going to catch him. Thought maybe a reverse DDT, but does it onto his knee. Then a running drop kick to the back. Naito's still nursing that tortured back of his. Fale working over his back. One thing I definitely think Fale needs is a new move. I will not refrain from saying that. I think the Bad Luck Fall, his version of the Insider, or the Outsider, or the Razors, whatever you want to call it, the Edge, Crucifix Power Bomb is another name for it. Has never really been that good of a move. It's too easy to get out of. Up over and a drop kick. Right to the chest. And big drop kick to the chest. Sends Fale stumbling back into the corner. Doesn't take him off his feet, though. Runs in, gets caught, and just forced back with a foot. The leg. Shoved back with the leg. There you go. Huge splash in the corner. Rolls him through, looking for the big splash on the ground, hits it. 1, 2, and only 2 count. And he's calling for the fall. Naito going to immediately get out of it, but gets caught with a forearm. Naito shooting in, Fale catches him. Catching him in the submission. Not a bad strategy. Get the big man down, try and choke him out. But what I could see Fale using as a finisher, something like a Dominator or a bear hug slam, perhaps. There's a break on the submission finally. Perhaps something like a boss man slam. Clubbing blow to the back there. Not sure what Naito's hoping to do here. Maybe a German or a belly-to-back suplex, but Fale's having none of it. Naito shoots in with a rolling kick. And lands the huge flying forearm. Gonna look for Destino. Folly catching him. But Naito escapes and hits a Enziguri. Actually, I think a good finisher for Folly would be Jackhammer. Or possibly the a Nash-style release powerbomb. Lots of options there. I just think you need something a bit better than that fall that's just not a very good move. Big clothesline. Only a 2 count. Jackknife. That was what they called it. That release powerbomb. Gonna look for the spike. Got caught with a DDT. Naito looking to catch him with Destino, perhaps. Gets caught with a spike. Is this going to be 3? 1, 2, and only 2 count. Said Naito, pretty damn tough. He's used to big matches. Folly's looking for the fall. Can he actually hit it, though? And he does. 1, 2, and 3. Folly actually gets the win with the bad luck fall. So now that's making things in the A block a lot more interesting. Yoshihashi so far sitting at 1 win, so only 2 points for him. Zack Sabre Jr. 2 wins, so he's at 4. Tanahashi 2 wins at 4. Nagata, clean sweep for him so far, 0 points. Fale just picked up a 2nd win for 4 points. Naito took his first loss for 4 points. Up next, we're going to have Ibushi and Ishii, both sitting at a loss and a win. So one of them is going to go up to 4 points, and the other go down to 2 losses. Stay at 2 points, but drop to a 2nd loss. Unless there's a draw there, which is uncommon, but always a possibility. And the final match of the night is going to be Makabe against Goto. Makabe sitting at 2 losses so far, Goto at 2 wins. So Makabe is going to be looking to pick up his first win of the tournament this year. Goto is going to be looking to keep his win streak going. Naito, 2 wins in a row, first loss here, so he's not going to have a clean sweep of wins this year. Of course, that almost never happens. The competition is just too fierce. Alright, coming out now, we got Ishii. The Stone Pitbull. And he's going to be facing off against Ibushi. making his return to New Japan after, let's see, he was in the 2015 tournament, and then he kind of disappeared not long after that tournament was over, and hasn't been back to New Japan until this year's tournament, so he's been gone for quite a while, except for as appearances as Tiger Mask W, which, if you're not familiar with that whole thing, there's Tiger Mask is a Japanese wrestler, junior heavyweight, and I believe the current Tiger Mask is the 4th one. And he's been wearing the mask and going by the name for quite some time. And then there's also an anime series based on Tiger Mask. It's Tiger Mask W, and occasionally they have matches with Tiger Mask W in the actual New Japan world, whatever you want to call it, and Ibushi has been the one portraying Tiger Mask W, which is supposed to be on the down low, I guess, but everybody knows, so. But now he's made his return to New Japan as himself. As I said, so far 1 win, 1 loss. He lost to Naito the first night of the tournament, and then picked up a win against Zack Sabre Jr. in the 3rd night. It's going to be interesting to see how he tries to handle Ishii, because you got a real contrast in styles here. Ibushi, former kickboxer, high flyer, so good striker. Uses a lot of the high flying stuff, of course. Ishii, very much a strong style wrestler, which is a style that New Japan is known for, which is just very in your face, beat the crap out of each other. If you're checking out my commentary as a substitute for the official English commentary, thank you very much for listening, and you would have seen the match again of Makabe and Ishii. That was strong style. Just 2 dudes beating the ever-loving crap out of each other. So it'll be interesting to see how Ibushi plays this. In his match against Zack Sabre Jr., he utilized a lot more strikes and mat wrestling. I think high-flying wise, he did 1 moonsault, standing moonsault. That was it. It looks like he's gonna play the strong style game here, and gets floored for it. Laying in some stiff forearms there, but gets floored again. Ishii going for that seated clothesline. Ibushi avoiding it. There, nice counter wrestling going on here. I'd really like to see more out of Ishii in this tournament. He's another one I've kind of felt. He's a good, strong mainstay kind of guy, but he could use something else. You know, if he really wants to move up to the big matches, the big title shots and stuff, I think he needs something else to help get him to that next level. I'd love to see him do something in this tournament this year. Exchanging really stiff forearms here. See who's going to give first. And surprisingly, Ishii caves first. Whoa. Nice camera work there. Make everybody feel ill. And Ishii gets dropped. Ibushi showing that striking prowess. Just kicking at Ishii a little bit, waking him up. Really, really stiff chop there. Oh, Ishii has been known to go a bit high on those chops and occasionally hit the throat. By accident. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Lighten his chest up. Ibushi finally going down. Fairly safe looking headbutt there. Still nice and hard, but didn't look like it was going to cave somebody's skull in. Chopping the hell out of him. And another, and another, and another. Not so safe looking there. Ishii reminds me a lot of Taz. I'm not saying that he should try and rip off Taz's gimmick, but if he could kind of draw on that whole thing, well, he already kind of is with a Stone Pitbull, but if he could, I don't know, just find that little extra something. I know he has it in him, he just needs to figure out what it is. Looking to get a suplex in here. Who's going to catch it? And it's Ibushi. Cannot dismiss Ibushi's strength. He is clearly a pretty cut dude. Ishii just popping up and getting floored. That was kind of a jump cut on the camera work there. I couldn't quite tell exactly what happened. It almost looked like something got cut out there, but I don't think so. I think it was Ibushi hit the suplex. Ishii just jumped right up and tried to nail him, but got hit with a drop kick. Ibushi gonna fly, maybe looking for a drop kick or something here, and nails it right to the chest. Sends an Ishii to the outside, perhaps looking for high crossbody, or if you prefer, a pescado, a flying fish. Or any number of other moves that are names that get applied to the same moves or similar moves. Slingshot crossbody. Getting him looking for maybe a German or a belly to belly, or belly to back, rather. But forearm, well, elbowed off. And Ibushi stopping him again. Huge clothesline. Ibushi sends him in. A big kick, another big kick. Saito suplex. Or a belly to back side suplex if you prefer. Both men on the ground. Ishii trying to get up first here. Both guys hitting some serious high-impact offense, taking a toll on each other, which is pretty much par for the course in any Ishii match. Looking for a suplex. Ibushi escapes. Shoots in, takes a kick. Ishii running out, gets caught again. Gets caught with a moonsault. I can't see the ref. 2 count. Ibushi has had a lot of counters to what Ishii's trying to throw at him. I have to kind of go back to what they were saying about not being too predictable. Said I would love to see Ishii change things up and start pulling out some new things and go maybe a slightly different direction than he has been. But he's gotten perhaps a little too predictable, and it's going to possibly cost him this match. Because Ibushi seems to really have got his number here. Really hard kick there. There's one thing you really don't want to do is let a former kickboxer just stand there and let him kick you. But Ishii likes to show how tough he is. That's part of the warrior spirit. It's part of his way of doing things. A lot of the New Japan guys, they want to show how tough they are. Oh. Oh, went up to the throat. Oh. Just kind of brutalizing the younger man in the corner, but that's really waking Ibushi up, ticking him off. Some hard knees there. Haven't seen Ishii do that before. Oh, and not a good idea. Again, kickboxers have some of the nastiest, meanest, hardest knee strikes you will ever see. Do not let a kickboxer knee you. Kicking's bad enough. Oh, slapping the crap out of each other now. Cat fight. Ow. Well, I'm sorry. That turned into more like a slappity slap. Then really hurting each other. And I think they're kind of irritating each other at this point. I think it's gone beyond just irritating. Big belly-to-back release. Ibushi pops up, though. Tries for a clothesline and another damn headbutt. Pele kick. Ishii finally hits that clothesline. He's been looking for that thing for ages. Waiting for him to get up here, see what's going to happen. both having a lot of trouble getting to their feet. Ibushi gets put up on the turnbuckle. It looked like he nailed him in the jaw with his head. Another headbutt. Ishii may be looking for a superplex. Has him up. Hits it. A lot of impact there. 1, 2, but only 2 count. Definitely put a lot of impact on Ibushi's lower back there. Ishii wants another clothesline, gets kicked in the arm, caught. German 1, 2, only 2 count. Ibushi has been trying to play Ishii's game here. Maybe calling for a go to sleep. Just a running knee. Oh, running knee got caught. Enziguri. Shining Wizard would be a running knee to the head. Ishii looking for that clothesline. Hits it. Only a 2 count, though. Ishii's going to want to hit that brain buster. Brain buster. Oh, maybe a power bomb? Looking for a power bomb. Ibushi gets out of it. Forearm. Up on the shoulder. Not sure what he was looking for, but Ishii got out of it. Flips through the suplex. Oh! Nasty side kick there. Spinning side kick. That could have been a KO blow, but... Oh, Ishii's still moving. Bushi's too tired to capitalize. He's got to get up. Ibushi gets up first, trying to pull Ishii up. Maybe looking for a big knockout punch. Got stopped. Ishii not able to stop the combo, though. Throws him off. Forcing his way through it. Huge clothesline. Ibushi muscling his way through. Catches him. Dragon. 1, 2. Oh, only a 2 count. Dragon suplex. This is what I was talking about earlier. Difference in the styles. Japan, you're going to see guys that, you know, they'll be right up there, up to their limit, and then they'll explode. Get that rush of adrenaline, you know, it's... Hopefully you'll see him through to winning the match. Ishii might be out of gas here. Ibushi looking to finish him. Oh, nope. Big headbutt to the chest. Big slap. Oh, just slapping the crap out of each other. Ibushi manages to nail a huge clothesline. Oh, nasty knee. The trapped arms, knee to the head, nowhere for Ishii to go, no way to protect himself. He's got to cover him. Maybe he's looking for something else to finish the match. Power bomb, well, last ride.
hits it seated last ride. 1, 2, and 3, and Ishii goes down. Ibushi picks up another win. Ishii giving everything he had and then some. And Ibushi, just the more determined man in this case. Perhaps Ibushi, although his match against Zack Sabre Jr. definitely not an easy win by any stretch of the imagination, perhaps just a little less physically damaging as Ishii's match against Makabe. Those two just brutalized each other. That definitely could have played a part here. You always have to keep in mind during a tournament like this, they don't get a lot of rest in between. I believe it's 19 shows across 28 days, 27 or 28 days, so they don't get very many breaks. The tag team matches in between, somewhat lighter workload, of course. Tag team matches are always going to be a bit easier than a singles match. Well, a lot easier, potentially, than a singles. But they're still not just getting R&R on those days. And a lot of the days where they do have a break, they're going to be traveling from location to location, so not much time for them to really rest and recuperate during these tournaments. Ibushi having some time with the fans, who were glad to see him back. He was quite popular when he disappeared, but he had some other things he was wanting to do, if I recall. I read something about it. I think he was trying to get some sort of a, maybe not a union, but he was trying to get something together for pro wrestlers to try and get him possibly some retirement benefits and some things like that. Because if you've been a fan of pro wrestling for any length of time, you have to know that it's a profession that can make guys rich, but is just as easily can leave them broken, battered, and destroyed by the time they're 50 with very little to show for it. And on top of that, at least here in the States, in Japan, they have a much better reputation and they're treated a lot better, but here in the States especially, there is a real stigma attached to pro wrestling, unfortunately. Here comes Goto, Hiroki Goto. Goto. I'll just stick with the easy to pronounce name, part of his name. Goto. Looking to pick up a third win. Going up against Makabe, who, as I said, winless so far. He's going to be hoping to not go down 0-3. My understanding with Makabe is He's not as old as Nagata, Kojima, Tenzan, that generation of stars, but he's, I think, a bit more along the lines of Tanahashi, maybe a bit older. So, believe former world champ, former G1 winner. Can't say that his days of winning gold are behind him, but perhaps heading more towards the opener status of some of the older guys. Kind of hard to say. Still very popular, still very physical and intimidating, so never count him out. If you want to try and tell him to his face that he's on his way out, then you can go, by all means you can try it. I'm not going to. I'm just theorizing. Goto, I think probably also around Tanahashi's age, maybe a bit younger. Tying up, waist lock, wrist lock, ringer, go behind and switch. Anyway, the point of all that was, I'm not sure if Makabe's at a point where they're really looking at him for title shots or anything like that anymore. I don't know. I guess it just depends on what he's up to and how they see him these days. Goto, unfortunately, he's had, I think, 8 shots at the world title and has lost every single one of them. I say this just about every time I see him in a match. I think he definitely could still get up there and be a contender for the title. Could be a title, be a world champ, be the top guy in the company. But if he ever hopes to make that, then he's going to have to do something different. Honestly, I think Goto could benefit greatly from a heel turn. He needs to break away from Chaos. He joined Chaos last year, I believe it was. And what he really needs to do is turn on Okada and Chaos and go heel, full tilt, really change things up, and really, try something different. Because I have absolutely no complaints whatsoever about his ring work. His ring work is impeccable. He just could use a bit more persona, a bit more presence. And he desperately needs something to change up his career. Otherwise, he's going to be one of those guys that unfortunately never made it to the top. Gonna look to throw him into the guardrail again, and does. Chest first. Goto just beating the crap out of Makabe. Which won't work out for him the way I'm sure he had hoped for it to. But these two are very familiar with each other. So Goto is well aware it's going to take a lot to put Makabe out. So far, Goto has gone up against Ishii, beat him, Nagata beat him. So Makabe kind of makes the complete set of strong style guys that he's going to be going up against. Goto also pretty much a strong style guy with some variation in there. I have to see if he can keep up this win streak here. Take Makabe down. Only a 2 count there, or I think it was a 2 count. I couldn't see the ref at all. Couldn't see red shoes. Of course, as I said about Ishii, Makabe coming off that absolute grueling battle with Ishii. That could definitely play a factor here, be a factor, play a role. Makabe waking up. It's always a mistake when you start being disrespectful like that, but they tend to do it. They do it on purpose. It's kind of like, hey, wake up. You're not going to let me have this all my way, are you? Throwing in some stiff forearms there. Makabe coming back to life. Swing and a miss. But shoulders him down, drops. Makabe, Goto may have taken a lot out of him already. And again, coming off that absolute war with Ishii, he could already have been a bit low in the tank to start with. But never count Makabe out. There's another big shoulder block, but can't stay on his feet. Runs in, big clothesline. Into the other corner, big clothesline. Gonna look for the punches. And gotta look for Northern Lights, and hits it. 1, 2, and 2 count. Makabe looking maybe for a German or a belly to back. Both men fighting out of it. Catching, jockeying for position. Big back elbow. Runs in, hits the spin kick. Saito suplex, 1, 2, only 2 count. At least I think they call it the Saito suplex. Maybe they're saying Saito suplex. It's a belly-to-back side suplex. I don't know. Block of the clothesline and a little fuck you to Goto there. He said it first. Oh, you should hear Makabe when he's in there with Tama Tonga and his brother Tonga Loa. With pretty much anybody else as the 4th man. I believe it was there was like a 6-man tag. All those guys were involved a few months ago. I think the commentators, the English commentary team's ears were turning red. I think it may have been Wrestle Kingdom, the beginning of the year. I think it was for the 6-man tag titles, if memory serves. Match probably has the record for the most F-bombs dropped in a single match in pro wrestling history. by the wrestlers. Exchanging forearms, Makabe getting the better of it, and flipping him off again. Running in, but gets caught. Guess is going to look to land him on the knee, and does. I'd have to say for a record for F-bombs in a pro wrestling match would probably be any given ECW match from back in the day. Looking for the GTR, Goto Revolution. Nice German. 1, 2. Picture perfect bridge there. One of the interesting things about Makabe, from my understanding, before he got really got into the strong style, he was more of a technical wrestler. So he'll be hitting you with that strong style, and then all of a sudden he'll pull something like a picture-perfect German suplex out on you. Definitely can catch you unawares. Nailing Goto. Goto refusing to go down. Now they're going to exchange clotheslines. See who's going to drop first. Both men kind of staggered. Goto drops first. You have to believe that Makabe has got a lot of emotion riding on this match. A lot. Huge clothesline. Only two count. Said, I'm pretty damn sure Makabe's younger than Nagata. Looking for the knee drop, misses it. Goto gets out of the way. So, it's unfortunate for Nagata to drop 0 and 3. But still, just looking at it logically, he's getting up there. His day in the sun's pretty much winding down. Makabe, like I said, he's not quite at that point yet. He could definitely still have another run in him. So he doesn't want to go through this tournament with a really crappy record. That's the sort of thing that could get in your head and start making you feel like maybe I should start winding things down now. And I don't think Makabe wants to be at that point yet. I think he's still got plenty of fire left in him. But Goto wants this tournament. Big kick only a 2 count. Goto managed to win his block last year, but only because Tanahashi and Okada tied. And you'd have to think that that would weigh on his mind. He wants to prove that he can win the tournament without needing a default like that. Got a sleeper sunk in pretty deep. Maybe going to be looking to transition from that into the Goto Revolution. Maybe take a page from Shibata's book. Those two started together. They've known each other for a long time. Used to be a tag team. A bit of a friend/rivals thing going on. So I talked about Shibata earlier, so Goto might be looking to take a page out of his book, give him a little tribute. Makabe's not really having it, though. He's trying to muscle out of this. And for those of you who don't know, Shibata liked to use a sleeper to get the guy down onto the mat and then hit penalty kick. It's that running soccer kick. to the chest. That was really what he liked to use as a finish. Big headbutt there. Somebody lost a wristband or something. Big clothesline in the corner. Makabe dropping. Goto getting him up onto the turnbuckle. To see what he's going to attempt here. Looking maybe for a superplex. Not sure. They're fighting up there now. Forearms, headbutts. More headbutts. Now, getting him up. No. The shoulders, maybe looking for that neck breaker. Well, it's more like a Death Valley driver onto the knee from the top. That could blow out his own knee doing that. But he wants to win. Makabe fighting him off, chopping him down. Chops him down again. Makabe. Oh! Just nailed him with that flying knee right into the face. Chest. I couldn't tell exactly where he hit him, but he nailed him hard. Makabe might have this. Looking for a power bomb. Hits it. 1, 2. Oh, only a 2 count. Maybe looking for... Goto knows what's coming. He's going to fight his way out of this. He's going to try to. Oh, massive clothesline to the back. Makabe looking for the spider suplex. Can he hit it? Goto knows that it's coming. He's trying to fight free. Trying to... slamming his head down into the post. And hits the suplex. If Makabe can get it turned around and hit the knee, this is done. There's the knee. And 1, 2, and 3. So both guys who had a win streak going here lose. So that's everybody is either at 2 or 4 points, so we're still only 3 matches into this block, so absolutely everybody has everything to play for here. The only one who's really kind of in a bad way is Nagata, sitting at 0 wins, but even he still could make a big comeback. Alright, so definitely an interesting development. Naito coming in strong tonight, takes a loss. Goto coming in strong, takes a loss. Like I said, either 2 or 4 points. The only one worse off, again, Nagata with 0 so far, but still 6 more matches to go for these guys. That's a possible 12 points. Most of the time, most of the winners of the tournament in the past have hit 12 points. That's usually what's going to get them a win in the block. Alright, so I'll leave you there. Makabe's going to talk a little bit. That's the night 5 of the tournament. See you guys on the next one. For the ones that don't have any official English commentary, I'll try to keep up with them and get these commentaries up in a timely manner. Once more, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave comments, share the videos and all that stuff. And one last thing, one little commercial from myself. I am a game developer. I recently released a new online PC game called Jack Hoth. That's Hoth. the legendary Journey. Go ahead and please check that out. And one last time, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.